let's take a move to the studio element of Higharc. And this is your intelligent building modeling tool. So I'd love to see how this is in action at Buffington Homes.
When we first onboarded with Higharc, we kind of just grabbed a group of people in our office and said, do you want to learn studio? So there was like 6 or 7 of us kind of learning, and we had someone working for us. He was a younger guy, 24, and just working in the field, sweeping out houses. And we knew he was really smart and good with computers. And so we said, hey, why don't you come in? Are you interested in learning this? And he is now our full-time drafter. So he went from, working in the field and sweeping houses. And if you ask him his favorite thing, he just is like being inside is like good enough. But he is our full-time studio drafter. And I kind of wanted to highlight that because I don't have any CAD experience either. I can draw on Higharc. It's a tool that anybody can learn. And I really love that aspect of bringing the learning curve down for our company. I think our systems before had a really steep learning curve, which made it difficult for us to kind of pivot or onboard new people or make changes.
I think what we're going to talk about now, which is the Higharc's central data model, think of it as really putting all of your best practices and your strategy into technology, right? So all of the things that you want to do as a builder, as a brand, if it's important to you, those are the types of things that you build right into our central data model so that it's executed every time, regardless of the user or the particular plan, et cetera.
Yeah, so Higharc, when we implemented, the first thing they do is set this up with us. So they say, how do you do your foundations? What are the things that happen when you add a garage? We have a 4-inch step and then a certain type of slope that comes out of the garage. All those little ticky-tacky things are all built into the central data model. And all of our options are in here as well. So like we keep talking about the outdoor fireplace. So the more things I can have at this global level, and I can even price it at this global level, and it'll migrate down to all of those plans. So this is really like the most powerful tool that's behind all of our plan sets.
It's really the brains behind the operation. We call it the engine that runs Higharc. And it's a thing that you will continue to interact with and build out over time.
Last year, we had a unique opportunity to purchase lots in a community that was halfway built out. And we would have to take on that builder's set of plans, which is something we hadn't done before. We always developed our own plans and found lots and kind of went that route. And it also took us such a long time to develop plans prior to Higharc in our systems now that we couldn't accept land deals where we had to move quickly or create product quickly. But now we have Higharc, and so this opportunity came up, and so we said yes to it, and we were able to really quickly take those plans and kind of like Buffingtonize them using the central data model and create them quickly so that we could execute this land deal, which was a big deal for us. It was a huge part of our closings for this year, and we would not have been able to effectively, from a cost perspective and from a time perspective, execute that without Higharc.
So we start in studio, and what we create in studio, I'll show you right now, can be instantly available for sale. And it will reflect the things in the central data model that Marissa has indicated, those construction methodologies.
Building the standards and the options that are then presented in showroom.
You've got it. Yep.
They got it.
So this is our favorite fun little demonstration that we do for studio. And what you're looking at is Higharc Studio. This is where homes are created and maintained. So what I'm going to do is we are going to create a house real quick. So I'm going to use 2 commands for the entire demonstration. So I just used R for room or rectangle, and you can see a house-like object on the left. I'm gonna take the roof off of that so you guys can see what I'm doing here. Now, as I start to kind of break up these spaces, my second command is K for knife split. You're going to see things changing in the model, right? And what's changing is the aspects of that, you know, in this example, Marissa has indicated in her central data model. So we don't have windows in walls. We don't have, you know, things happening that are not buildable, if you will. And the more information we give Higharc, the better execution there will be here. So think of this essentially as me creating a bubble diagram, right? Of where I want the spaces to be within the home. Now, there's nothing magic about the lines that I have on my screen underneath. That's just to help me get approximate sizes, right? But you'll really start to see it here when I take this room at the bottom and I turn it into a garage. So in that instant, right, the details have been applied, the foundation has been updated, Type X drywall has been added, all of the things that I need to have happen with this home have been executed. I'm going to go through and change a few of these. I just changed that to a front porch. Now watch what happens when I change this to an entry. Immediately we get a front door and some electrical, right? And the reason that happened is that we're not only managing individual spaces, but we're also managing the relationships between those spaces. So I'm going to turn this one to a bedroom. I'm going to turn this one into a bedroom as well. When I change this one into a bathroom, you're going to see it change as well. And then I'll change this to a hallway, and a whole bunch of stuff will happen real quick here. All right, so now we've got fixtures, electrical again, etc. This also allows you to centralize things that you want to offer across the board. So what do I want my base house kitchen to be? What do I want my walk-up, as I call it, to be? So I want to sell another type of kitchen that has different appliances. I can define that one time, and it will be available for me across the board.
Yeah, I mean, so that you've built these structural, electrical, and mechanical standards for your rooms that's based on the level of quality you want, your preferred vendors, et cetera. And then this tool is auto-populating that stuff as you design rooms.
Keep in mind too, that since Higharc is created for home building, it works right out of the box. So you don't have to create all of these rules. Really what you have to do is indicate what your choices are, what your preferences are. In this specific example, I'm changing something that happened automatically that I wasn't quite happy with, right? So I had two doors. Let me do that one more time. I had two doors from this rear porch into the house. Yep. And that's because I set it up so that the rear porch could enter the living room or the dining room. In this instance, I don't want two doors. So I very quickly can come in here, select the wall I want to change, and then simply change it from a door to a window. And then I dive in a little bit further and I can change it to a bigger window if I want.
So who does all the work of these construction standards? I mean, do you guys at Higharc have a templated set of standards that then can be tweaked and modified? It's not being built from scratch by each builder.
Yeah, they send us like basically all of the rules, kind of like the Higharc base settings that are in the program, and then we just tweak them. Now they don't work for every community. I mean, you're going to have different things in different communities or for different plans, but it'll get you a lot farther on that first try when you start, drawing your next plan.
Yeah. So what's the investment for Higharc in like having that sort of design and engineering expertise?
Yeah. So what took us the time was to get not necessarily the settings in place, but to make sure that our system was flexible enough to handle everybody's variables, right? So we tried to, it sounds kind of silly, but we tried to streamline things like, what does the note say for the corner board? No one can agree. Right. So what we've done is we've made it very easy for you to one time in the middle, centrally, Marissa can say, I want my corner board note to say 4-inch trim. That will be updated on every document that she ever produces. So behind the scenes, what we've built is not the settings or the individual rules. We've built the platform that allows it to happen. So I just want to point out some of that here, right? So this is the house that I just made with you all. We have a lot of good information here that's approaching permit ready plan set. Of course, you would need to add to it, but I didn't draw these dimensions. You didn't see me do that at all. I didn't draw any of these notes. I didn't draw the electrical plan, which I'm thankful for. What Higharc has done is it's generated this plan set from the information that we have in place for this house. Now we can also take a look just to make sure we're kind of closing the loop. This is that same house in the showroom environment that Marissa showed you earlier.
And that's like the layering that I was talking about. You have your central data model, you create your plan. At the same time, you're creating your sales experience. And Jennifer's going to show you guys the takeoff data that it'll generate too.
Marissa, what kind of investment on Buffington's part in terms of the human resources component to get this stuff customized to your needs? I mean, was it like an extra 30% of work for the personnel typically involved with it, or was it the same amount of work or even less?
I think for us, we kind of knew we had that tribal knowledge. So we just had to get all those people in the same room and kind of work through the template that Higharc sent us. It only took us, I think, like an afternoon and lunch to kind of work through it all. So it didn't take long. I think I talked to a lot of builders who are interested in Higharc, and they're always interested in like how long does that take? But for us, it wasn't a huge lift. And you're not looking for perfection every single time, but you're just looking to like take that tribal knowledge and put it into one document.
Yeah. And how do the folks that contributed the tribal knowledge feel about the working tool? I mean, is it a thriller for them?
I think I always tell people this too. Like, I think our team is kind of like impressed by ourselves at this point, that like, we kind of like took our power back in a way. We were outsourcing all of this work when we can do it faster and better. Like, we know what we want. And so it's easier for us to just say, oh, move that, change this, do that. I mean, we do product development sometimes in real time in our meetings, and that's like unheard of. And so if we're, close to getting a house done, we'll have our drafter come in and say, like, kind of tweak things as we all sit there. And then we'll say like, okay, yeah, that feels right. So let's move forward with that.